So, and I've also had other students, other clients. I've had 11 personally, but some of them are, you know, among the top people at ExxonMobil, arguably the most renowned doctor of internal medicine, Dr. Padmini, Dr. Bose, who owns 9 hospitals down in Texas. People like this, and also clients that I can't really speak, or I can't name in particular. Among those are members of the Rothschild family, members of the Rockefeller family, former government officials, and you can imagine why I can't name their names, at least by first name. But one of the things that I do teach, beyond everything manifestation, meditation, thought control, is age reversal. Now, I don't have a picture. Actually, I might, but it's downstairs in the car. But for those of you who have seen my pictures and have seen my journey over the last couple of years since I've been drinking Kangen water, this January is 3 years that I've been drinking the water. You've noticed something about my physical appearance. I've been around since 1984, and about 5-6 years ago, all of my pictures since then, even 3 years ago, I looked like I was in my mid-30s. Now, I said I've been around since 1984, so you do the math. Because for me, I'm 17 years old. I'm 17 years old. Now, that goes a lot into thought control and manifestation, materialization, and everything else. But one of the main key components is this water right behind me. I was first introduced to this water. The water, not just the machine itself. I was first introduced to this water when I was at NASA. Because little does the world know that NASA has been using this type of ionized water since the 50s with their astronauts. How many people here know that 9 months prior to a mission, during a mission, and 9 months after a mission, every astronaut must be on a highly alkaline, low ORP diet? Have to be. Why? Because they die. Let me explain why. Everyone, you probably already heard earlier, I wasn't here for the beginning, but I'm sure that they covered it because they do that very well. I love these presentations. They covered oxidation. Now, what oxidation really is, as they explained, is the process in which oxygen, when it touches matter, it begins to break it down on a molecular level, right? You chop the avocado in half, you leave it out, it becomes brown after a while, and the same thing happens to pretty much everything. Fruits and vegetables, you can see pretty much before your eyes turn brown. The same thing happens to the human body, but it happens at a much slower pace. Why? Because we continue to generate electrons or pick them up. But one of the main things about this particular ionized water is that because astronauts breathe in highly rich oxygen, why? Because they're in the wet lab, weightless environment training. Anyone ever seen the pool, that big giant 40-foot deep pool that they train the astronauts in? They're in that a lot. They're constantly breathing in highly rich oxygen, about 80% rich, which is about scuba gear rich. We breathe in about 50 to 60% rich oxygen on a daily basis. 80% versus 50, 60%. That's very rich oxygen. So the process of oxidation is taking place at a much faster rate. That means it's aging their body and their internal organs at a much faster pace. How many people here know or have friends that are underwater welders? Anyone? Underwater welders have an average lifespan of 35 to 40 years of age. 35 to 40 years of age. And on the plus side, they get paid very well. Coming out of college, high school, they can make about 120 grand. But you couldn't pay me 120 grand to make me chop my life expectancy in half. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. This event sponsored by MasterCard. But oh, I wish. But it is true. And they use this particular type of water to keep their astronauts alive. Buzz Aldrin has one. And so do a few others. They need it. They understand it. When I didn't know that you could get it on the market as a consumer. I thought it was some kind of miracle thing that only NASA could produce. It's right there. I can physically touch it. It's right here. I didn't even know I was drinking this water until 3 days into it. And I started to notice that my digestive problems that I had had my entire life, up until that point, were gone in 3 days. And have never returned. Except for a 3-month period where I tried a runner-up machine, the Athena machine, which is also a water ionizer. And that's when I realized all water ionizers are not the same.
Right.
3 months, all my digestive problems came back. When I finally got back on my Kangen water machine, they went away. Within a day and a half, 2 days, they were gone again. And I began to understand, just because a Chrysler 300 and a Rolls Royce look the same, does not make them the same kind of car. Anyone drive a Rolls Royce can testify to that. So, a lot of this information I also share with my students. I was brought on by these doctors, these very prominent doctors, to help them to diagnose their patients faster. Now, in my presentation that I've given, all over the world, I've had a lot of very, very prominent people in the medical profession, in the scientific profession, sitting where you are right now. Huge dentists sitting right where you are right now. And one thing is very, very clear. If you want to break down the science of why you absolutely need more ions, or rather, an ionizer so you can have more electrons in your body, how many people have gone up to somebody and you said, what kind of water are you drinking? I'm drinking alkaline water. I'm good. I don't need your ionizer. I drink alkaline water. Essentia 9.5, Eternal or Eternity, whatever it's called. I'm fine. Yes, the water that you're drinking is alkaline. But it cannot make, because it doesn't have electrons in it, it cannot make your body alkaline. Did you know that? There's no way. The only way, when you drink it, it stays alkaline as it goes through your body. Now you have alkalinity and you have ORP, oxidation reduction potential, which I'm sure they covered. One is the feel-good factor, the other is the miracle factor. The water from Lourdes of France that everyone claims heals people, do you know what its ORP measurement is? -200. This thing cranks out -700 plus. Woo! Now, I'm not a distributor. I'm not here to sell you, because it sells itself. It sells itself. I'm not here to try to recruit you for anything. I'm an end user. I'm a witness. And I can tell you that this stuff works. I can tell you a million reasons why, but nothing will be more compelling than you trying it. Try it for 3 days. Make a liar out of me, please. Please. Now, as I said before, you can make toxic water alkaline by simply adding some sodium bicarbonate and some minerals in it. But I dare you to drink it. I dare you to drink it. Only the presence of electrons in water, or in this element, which is water, can make your body alkaline. Electrons make you alkaline. That's why it's the core reason why organic food is organic. The difference between organic food and regular food, or the other kind of food, Monsanto type stuff, is that the organic food has an abundance of electrons in it. It has to. Because if it didn't have electrons, it would become easily diseased. It couldn't fight off pests. Life finds a way. Nature knows best. The same way, if you have an abundance of electrons in your body, you will be alkaline. Viruses cannot touch you. Illness cannot affect you. The swelling of joints go away faster. As an athlete, and I know one particular athlete back there, Mr. Kevin Lowe, it helps you to recover faster. You need the electrons in your body, and you need an abundance of them in order to begin that process of age reversal. Not just slowing down the aging process, because this can do it alone. But there are other elements, and these elements I've taught to many, many people in groups like this, and also my personal students. There are other things that you can do to not only slow it down, but to stop it, and then kick it into reverse, and reverse your age. If anybody has a picture of me from, or finds it on Facebook, by all means, please put it up here so people can see. So people can see the difference. Annabelle's been telling me every single time she sees me, and you should have seen me with the ball cap earlier. I can't walk through Vegas casinos without being stopped and say, sir, you can't, young man, you cannot be here. You can't be here. I'm not near the slots. No, you can't be in this place, this place of business. But it is possible. And the things that I teach, it's called Thought Mechanics, a practical guide to frequency-based living. It's actually about to launch this Sunday, November 1st. We're launching thoughtmechanics.org for the very first time to the world. Now these are things, these teachings are things that only the elite of the elite have been privy to for a very long time. They have yet to be made public until this Sunday. Until this Sunday. So some of you have already known me, some of you have been to those presentations. Those are baby steps compared to what I'm about to release on November 1st, this Sunday. Baby steps. We're talking about rewriting reality. And you won't find it in The Secret. And you won't find it in your other self-help gurus. Not to impugn their work, so I won't name them personally. But you won't find it. Why? Because what they teach you does not threaten the people who run the world, their grasp or their control, their handle, their hold over you. But times are changing. We know that. We can see it everywhere. There's a reason why he said, you have a job now. You've been there 31 years. You don't know if you're going to make it to 31 and a half. That's how precarious the world has become. Our situations have become. And if you are not doing something to become more independent, self-reliant, self-sustaining, and keeping yourself from falling into horrible debt, one way is getting sick. Anybody been to the hospital lately? The bill is astronomical. And it only keeps getting worse. So I won't gild the lily too much more, because I know that these guys have done a great job explaining this water to you. But I do want to say one last thing. One last thing about ions, and that is a positively charged atom. If you look at an atom, there's a nucleus at the center. And around that nucleus is a probability cloud of nothing but electrons. Imagine that like the stuffing inside of a plush bear, your teddy bear. All of those electrons are that cloud, that stuffing. And over time, as oxidation does, it strips the electrons from the atoms. Over time, you're pulling a little bit more stuffing out of that bear. And a little bit more. Every day, just a little bit. Nothing noticeable at first. You know, let's say you take out just a little bit every day for a couple years. Before long, that bear is going to be shriveled up and flat, without fullness, without suppleness. Just like fruits and vegetables that you leave out for a long time. As they become aged and they turn brown, they also start to shrivel up, shrink, become petrified. Is it no wonder why elderly people also begin to look like that fruit, old and shriveled up? It is the exact same thing. You are losing the stuffing in your atoms. And this is something that NASA has known for a very long time. A very long time. You're only catching up. This has been going on since the 50s. You're only catching up now. And it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. So, like I said, I won't gild the lily much more. Thank you very much for having me here. Thank you for your time. And thoughtmechanics.org, if you'd like to check that out this Sunday, you're more than welcome to. And thank you so much for having me. And I hope to at least read out.